Hi, everybody. This is Jim Cornette, pro wrestling legend, and you're listening to the Book in the Territory Unprofessional Wrestling Podcast.
This is the artist formerly known as Daryl Van Horn, James Mitchell, the Sinister Minister, and I'm here to let you know I would rather slam my cock in a car door than to miss the dulcet tones of Hard Body Harper, my illegitimate son, on Booking the Territory podcast.
Welcome back, everyone, to this week's episode of our Smoky Mountain Rasslin podcast. This is Smoky Mountain Wrestling, episode 170 from April the 29th, 1995. And this is Booking the Territory, the Unprofessional Wrestling podcast, where today I'm sitting here with Doc Turner and not Hard Body Harper. Our schedule continues to be crazy and nuts, and Harper couldn't join us. But what we're going to have to do, Doc, is we're going to have to play one promo, in particular the Buddy Landell one, for Harper on the NWA show in the future. We need his reaction to it. Would you agree?
Fuck you.
What's that mean?
I don't know. It's an unprofessional podcast. I thought I'd just start out unprofessional.
No, but seriously,
play it for him. You have to, because it pertains to his superpower. We'll talk about that in a minute. Let me ask you something though. When's this show gonna drop?
I don't have my calendar in front of me. It's a few weeks out, but you know the people need to realize this is the window we have. So this is the window in which it gets recorded. Because I'm glad you asked that, because I got a message from someone saying, "What do you mean your schedule's all messed up? You record some of these a few weeks out, and you record the NWA show sometimes always a week in advance."
Let me tell you people something. If y'all don't leave Mike alone, y'all are gonna end the show. And let me tell y'all something else. And this may be too late at the time, but you cocksuckers need to leave Lance alone. Seriously. I'm being serious now. This is a wrestling podcast, and I heard tale that so I've never talked to Lance. I've never met Lance. But I heard some of y'all were being real wrong. Not like funny dudes, kick each other in the shin, I hate you kind of stuff, but like talking about his family. And it's that kind of stuff that we don't make enough money from this, that we could just walk away. And so I'm just telling you, everybody needs to, look, we're the unprofessional podcast. So we ain't telling everybody that we need to have a prayer circle and eat milk and cookies, right? We know what we're doing. But let's leave our families out of this shit, all right?
All right.
And y'all need to leave. Well, I've been needing to say that for a while because, Lance is a little fella that's not used to this kind of abuse. And nobody should have to deal with that. So I'm just saying,
Lance is real straight.
Hey, you know what?
Real straight-laced.
Hey, you know what? Let's up the patron levels to $50 a month, and then you can say whatever you want.
Okay.
But for real, man. So everybody, we got a couple of people out there that have kids. And we just got out of the holiday season. Now, when we're recording this is the week before Halloween. When you're listening to this, you're starting to prepare for Thanksgiving, probably. But you had Halloween. You'll remember this.
We're not recording that far in advance. We are. This shit's gonna drop during the holidays.
I don't really care. I will never think about this episode again after I cut it in about 45 minutes. So anyway, What I mean is, at what point, when we were kids, Halloween consisted of going to school on Halloween, coming home, getting in your costume once it got dark, trick-or-treating for about an hour, and coming home and going to sleep. When did this shit turn into a full month full of shit?
It's the commercialization of everything, and fucking Charlie Brown tried to tell us that back in the day with Charlie Brown Christmas and whatnot. But nobody listened back then. And now
it's the females, man. They can't let it alone. Because the schools got something, the church has got something, somebody else has something. Then, man, it's just like, dude. And then we got trick or treat night. My kids are getting in their costumes 4 different times. And so you know what that means? Doc has to go to 4 different things. You know what else is frowned upon at the fall festivals? Beer drinking. The one place that you need it the most, the fall festival, is the one place you can't go drink.
Well, that's because you live in a white suburb. You could, where I'm from, you could have drank at the fall festival. I hate to break the news to you,
but you don't live there no more.
I'm just saying.
Anyway, well, people didn't tune in for the holiday talk or the your scheduling problems or to hear me cut a promo on them about Lance. I'm serious, y'all do need to leave Lance alone. Y'all want to make fun of SMU football? That's fine. You want to make fun of?
Care about that.
Nah,
he's like,
you want to make fun of him making programs or him being up to Von Erich's ass? That's fine. But leave his family out of it. Seriously.
All right, buddy.
Now he doesn't like Orange. That's fair game. That's just rampant stupidity. And I know that y'all all tuned in to hear Harper. We got to apologize for that too. So Mike and I are going to do our best. He's been drinking Henny since about 1:30 this afternoon.
That's not true.
It's 8:00. We're primed and ready to go. The Mountaineers are ready to go. Look at all those hill folk right there in that shot.
So hold on, you're ramping and raving. It's Thanksgiving. This is at least the Smoky Mountain. I just looked it up. It's Thanksgiving this week. This is the Smoky Mountain Thanksgiving, which, by the way, every Thanksgiving, if you listen to our NWA show, we have How to Give Thanks the BTT way that Doc came up with years ago. So if you're listening to this show, make sure you listen to this Thursday show, or as we've done on the NWA show recently. We actually will usually release it on Wednesday night before Thanksgiving, so you can enjoy it there. And that way you'll hear the message of how to give thanks on Thanksgiving. So it is Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you out there. There you go, Doc.
Why?
That's when
No. This show doesn't drop on Thanksgiving. This show drops on Sunday nights.
I said the week of Thanksgiving.
Oh.
The week.
What do you think the Smoky Mountain people give thanks for? This is where Harper would say, God.
Ugh. That's what he did.
Yeah. Can you imagine what these assholes give thanks for?
He's like Vince. Ugh. God damn, pal. God. What do they think? Thanks for fucking possum? Canned fucking possum? Anyway, all right. We've chatted it up enough. Shout out to Disrespectfully Classy, Marky Blassie, Kyle Riley, Mike Childry for your generous patronage each and every month. Happy Thanksgiving to you all. And remember, since it is Thanksgiving and those holiday sales and all that other bull crap is getting ramped up, Amazon, you can use our link, tinyurl.com/BTT Amazon. A great way to support this show without spending anything extra. So if you don't want to become a patron, fine. Use the Amazon link, please, because I know 90% of you shop on Amazon. Again, it's tinyurl.com, BTT, tinyurl.com/BTT Amazon. Go ahead, Doc. What you about to say?
Well, here's how you do it. If you tried a few weeks ago by grabbing your girl by the hair, the scruff of the neck, and that didn't work, rip off her pants, grab her like a bowling ball, and lead her over to the computer and say, this is the link.
That's nice, Doc. And on that note, we are again covering episode 170 of Smoky Mountain from April 29th, 1995. 30 more to go. Yes, you heard that right. Taping number 2 from Warrensville, North Carolina at Northwest Ash High School, drawing 350 people, if you believe the records on the internet. Les Thatcher and Chip Kessler kick off the show. We don't even get a formal show intro like we're used to. We actually get kind of like a recap at the very beginning almost. I don't even say a recap, but like an intro of what we're going to see this week with, what's going to go down. And I'll leave it at that because we'll get more into it. But that said, Chip Kessler does mention a few things at the top of the show before the intro music, and that's it. And we head straight to the ring where we see Larry Santo versus Steve Armstrong. Doc, any thoughts on Chip's opening and then Larry Santo and Steve Armstrong?
Well, at the beginning, Steve Armstrong does some dancing there, and he's kind of looking like Bob Armstrong, but he wasn't exactly dancing like Stanfield there, was he? Here he comes. Here he is.
Yeah, he's just doing the leg thing. Nobody can hit the cabbage patch and the wiggle like Stanfield. I mean,
that's right. I mean, I miss Stan and the pelt 3 years later.
That's some extra, snatch magnet type stuff when Stan hits the wiggle. And the best part about it is we've reached this point on the NWA show where basically the Midnight are kind of turning babyface, and when Stan's doing the wiggle and the shimmy, and when I say kind of turning babyface, you know, we get the whole thing, the feud with them and Arn and Tully. He's getting more cheers, and I mean, can you imagine the snatch that Stan got as a heel, and imagine what he's getting as a face?
That's what I wanted to ask you is, so for a guy like Stan, who can already bat at a pretty high percentage, does it help him turning face, or is he beyond? Does he transcend all of that? Like Rick and him, they could just
they transcend it, but I mean, let's say he was batting 500. He's batting 900 now as a face. Okay,
so it does help.
I mean, I think there's some help in it. But any thoughts, Doc, on Larry Santo versus Steve Armstrong?
Steve got him a haircut since the last time we saw him. I don't know what it is, because Steve doesn't have just a ton of charisma, but he has that Armstrong thing, so I like him. That's about all I had. He's solid.
I like Steve. He's solid. He is. I mean, he's not going to light the world on fire, but he's good.
And this is just the truth. If he is your top anything, then your promotion's probably not going to make it. But I like him on the card. So that's kind of my take.
Yeah, I agree.
But I'm kind of done with that, because I'm ready to hear what Boudreaux has to say about some stuff.
Well, so first off, they air a replay of Buddy Landel defeating Bobby Blaze last week, and then this is followed by a promo from Buddy where they are at Classy Motors, and it figures
you couldn't write that up.
Go ahead.
You couldn't make that up if you tried.
The fact that it's named Classy Motors?
Yes.
That's the ultimate irony. I mean, I don't know if people realize. It's just, Harper came up with the That's Real Classy many, many years ago, 4 years ago at this point. And now, yes, the irony of that is amazing. It's
the
incredible.
Only thing that would be better, and I don't know if this is true or not because I don't remember, is that Classy with a K or Classy with a C?
C. Oh boy. So again,
no.
The phone number's there too. Somebody's gonna call it. Classy Motors Incorporated, guaranteed financing, which means that they're gonna charge you 35% for some bullshit that's got frame damage or water damage or is a piece of crap car. $49.99 or $5,000 basically or less.
Most cars.
Most cars what?
It says most cars above that.
Oh, God, that's a good catch. I didn't even most cars. So most cars are under 5. All
in
right,
like
Doc,
7-point font.
With that said, do you want to go to Boudreaux here?
We need to.
He's at Classy Motors.
With Wayne.
He's got a message for us.
And he's with Wayne.
He's with Wayne. Here it is.
Boy, Buddy Landel, the Smoky Mountain heavyweight champion. And I'm here today at Classy Motors on Clinton Highway in Knoxville, Tennessee. Now, Bobby Blaze, I'm here for a purpose. And my purpose being this. Since I stomped you and humiliated you to win this Smoky Mountain heavyweight title, you're a no title wearing, coal dust blowing, no time telling, broke puke from Ashland, Kentucky. Now, what I'm going to do, since I'm a compassionate human being, being the outstanding pillar of the community that I am, I'm here with Wayne from Classy Motors, and I'm personally going to buy you a vehicle. Now, that's what kind of a person I am. See, it's like this, Bobby. Since you're walking around with no car and you got to feed your family on food stamps, carrying your old lady on your back, and especially feed that illegitimate kid of yours, let it never be said that the nature boy Buddy Landel wasn't compassionate. My heart goes out to you. I feel for you. Especially living in Ashland, Kentucky, but be that as it may, that's where you live. So I'm here today to purchase you a vehicle. Wayne, I'm just asking you this. You got any cars around here that would be suitable for a coal dust blowing puke from Ashland, Kentucky?
Yeah, we got plenty of cars here. I got 3 or 4 I'm going to show you here in just a few minutes. It'll be perfect for him. Hey, Nature Boy, how about a 1989 Pontiac Grand Am? It's got new tires, 40-something thousand miles, a one-owner car with a cold air. What do you think?
No. Listen, we're talking about a puke from Ashland, Kentucky, Bobby Blaze. This is way too nice of a car for him. Besides, he'd probably get it stuck in one of them stinking mud ruts up there in Ashland, Kentucky in that trailer park he lives in. So let's just go to the next one.
Hey, Bad Nature Boy, how about a 1992 Chevrolet pickup truck? Got leather interior, got cold air on it, V8, and this is high enough off the ground. I believe you can get around it. What do you think?
Well, let me ask you a question. Does it have jumper cables?
No.
Well, if it ain't got jumper cables, then he won't know how to operate it. Next one, let's go.
How about a 1987 5.0 GT Mustang 5-speed? You think that's good enough for him?
Wayne, I'm going to tell you something. As nice a car as that is, it's way too fast of an automobile for somebody like Bobby Blaze. Besides, I don't want to be involved in promoting illegal liquor sales. He'll be running moonshine in this stinking thing. We got to go to the next one. Come on, baby. Wayne, I'm going to be honest with you. Here at Classy Motors, you guys just got way too good automobiles for somebody like Bobby Blaze. Now, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you 1 week to find that puke from Ashland, Kentucky, the suitable transportation. 1 week. Okay? So I'm going to be back next week, and I want you to have something suitable for Bobby Blaze.
It's messed up, man.
Come on.
1989 Pontiac Grand Am, one owner with cold air. Boy, that's like luxury back then in the Smokies, man.
Cold air, man. What?
That used to be a real heavy selling point for a vehicle when you were buying one back in the day.
Power windows, power steering, cold air.
All right, Doc, what did you think about this?
This was great. On-site activities at Classy Motors. Classy Motors doesn't exist anymore, shockingly enough. We got Wayne there. How would you describe Wayne to the people?
He's actually a normal looking fella. He's just got a very, very country accent.
He's
Southern.
probably, 36 years old, white t-shirt, white shorts.
I don't know if he'd be about 30. See, he looked like he'd be maybe 30. Around 30 years. It's hard to tell, but about 30 years old.
Wayne's a mess here. How about that?
I don't know if he's a mess. Why do you think he's a mess? Oh, because of the attire he's got on?
Yeah.
Oh, because you're saying no car salesman is going to look like this guy?
Would you buy a car from a guy wearing knee-length shorts?
Okay, so you got to put things into perspective here. At the age of 20, yes. I would have been shopping at a place like this, even though I had a decent job and made okay money. But
I bought a car from a place. I bought a car from a place like this when I was in my early 20s, and it ended up having been totaled.
Exactly.
And nobody told me. And when I went to then the engine block cracked, and I called Nissan, and they're like, "Yeah, we would have fixed this for you, but your car's been totaled before. You didn't know that?"
Yeah, that's what they do. That's what these little shops, that's what these little mom and pop type, we finance here, guaranteed. That's what they sell you. Here's a lesson, boys and girls.
They ain't selling cars. They're selling loans.
They're selling loans. Here's a lesson, boys and girls. I'm dead serious.
Let's be real. Boys.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury out there, let me tell you something. Get you a vehicle, if at all possible, from a reputable dealership. Not these little dealerships that say we guaranteed finance, where everyone drives off, because what they will sell you is a vehicle with a salvage title, a vehicle that's been totaled, a vehicle that may have rolled back miles, because what they do is they get these hunks of junk from basically auto auctions, and it's vehicles that the reason they're at the auctions and that they can get them for these crap ass prices is because reputable dealerships don't want these vehicles because they can't sell them because they don't meet their standards. So just, if at all possible, and I know it's not always possible because I've been to places like this and bought vehicles just like Doc, or bought a vehicle and it was a hunk of junk like Doc's. But try your best, because like Doc said, they're selling you a loan, basically. They're literally selling you a loan. at 35%.
Yeah, I don't buy new cars either. I buy a year or two old certified pre-owns from the dealer, and my rich ass tries to pay cash these days, so I ain't even getting a loan.
No, lucky you.
Yeah, well, hey, look, I haven't always been able to do that. So I started from the bottom. Now I'm here. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. I'm with you. And for reference point, we're going to move on because the thing about what we saw here, this is just the beginning. We don't see how it is. The best part is about, just think about the cars they showed him. 89 Pontiac Grand Am, one owner, cold air. They show him a nice, decent little truck for the air. They
that
show him
truck
a 5.0.
was nice, dude.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. These are all nice vehicles.
I think Buddy was right, where that truck and that Mustang are both too nice for Bobby. I agree.
That's messed up. It's
what?
Messed up. But my point being is this is just the start of it.
Well, I think Bobby could drive an 87 Mustang now. I just not back then.
Okay. Any other thoughts on this?
No, this is great. I loved it, man. This was awesome.
It's fantastic.
Next week's better.
Next week is better. This is great, and if you're a patron and you literally can watch it along with us, you will love it even more because you'll see the vehicles that they're talking about. It's some really, really fabulous stuff. tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. That's tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. Great way to support this show. Plus, get the video versions, the world-class shows, the ECW shows, all that stuff is up on our Patreon feed. All right, Doc, we'll keep going. They after the great segment with Budrow and the car salesman, we get a replay of the confrontation segment with Les Thatcher, Unabomber, and Al Snow when Gibson came out to fight them, but they eventually beat him down. And they almost nail him into the coffin/wooden box before he's saved. We don't talk much about replay, so I'm gonna keep going. We then get literally a 13-second promo from Gibson where he says he's gonna get them back. And I'm not joking. It was 13 seconds. Doc, did you have anything from it?
I think he said something about Ajax not washing something off, but I didn't have anything else.
Yeah. And then after Robert Gibson's quick promo, what's he looking at, Doc?
Come on.
I love Robert. I love him. It's a joke.
He looks like he's looking at the camera to me. That's not
Dude,
classic.
Look at that left eye. It's like,
man,
that left eye is looking at. That left eye is looking at that locker behind him, bro.
If you just zone in on his left eye, that's messed up. Man, that's not right, man.
Yeah, and because what Al Snow said about his tears rolling behind his back, that's really nice too.
Well, he's trying to draw money. What's your problem?
I'm just mad. Robert Gibson is a good dude, man. He's hilarious. He's a good dude, man. I've been around him a few times. Good dude. Hilarious dude. It's amazing because his promos honestly aren't all that great, but if you've ever been around him for a while, he's a riot. Okay, so we keep going. After that, they show a graphic for a May Mayhem match coming up. I wouldn't hang my hat on learning too much about this. It's just something that they're plugging. Nothing that's gonna be covered on TV.
But I had a question about it. How is this different than spin the wheel, make a deal?
Yeah, I think this is just something that they kind of did, trying to draw up some interest to get to the matches where, but it ain't, I don't even want to spend time on it because it's not something that's like going to have any long-term, anything in this promotion long-term.
Uh-huh.
All right, we get a Boo Bradley promo in front of the same locker that Robert Gibson was in, and Boo says they're going to have a Jersey dog fight. And my only note, I'm not playing it, too many goddamn rules, too many goddamn stipulations, even though the match actually is a lot simpler than Boo tried to communicate.
I just thought this sounded dumb.
It was too many rules. It was like the damn Tower of Doom thing. And I was like, and then I've seen it already, so I kind of know how the match goes. The match was fine that they had. I don't think anything was wrong with it, but it's just Boo explaining the rules. I was like, this is too much. I mean, the average person isn't grasping this. It just doesn't make sense. So that's all I had. Not that Boo wasn't bad. It's just him explaining the matches or the stipulations.
You could be mean. He's dead. He can't hear you.
You're an asshole.
What?
We then go to Bobby Blaze versus Killer Kyle for the Beat the Champ TV title. The Thugs and Gangsters both are at ringside. The Thugs being Tracy Smothers and Dirty White Boy. The Thugs are out there. They want to make sure there are no shenanigans that go on in this match. Because, I mean, Bobby, if you leave him out there with the Gangsters, his little pink neck is going to end up,
Hey!
slitted. Bobby, he knows I love him. Anyway, the Thugs are out there to make sure.
He can't help it if he's worth 2/5 more than New Jack.
All right, Doc, what you got for this match from it?
You're starting to get frustrated with me, aren't you?
I'm just getting through the show.
I don't like it when all those guys are around the ring. I just don't.
That's your only note?
No, my other note was meh, because I didn't like the finish. And it wasn't anything against Kyle and Bobby. I kind of wanted to see this thing play out with them. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, the matches on this episode, like most, are just not really long. I mean, they spend a lot. There's a lot more promo time, and I've chalked it up to this. You know how a long time ago you said, I don't know if I really liked wrestling as much as I like the shit talking? Well,
right.
If you really look at a pattern in Smoky Mountain Wrestling, that's probably why we like it, because it's just a lot of shit talking and vignettes and promos. Like, there's really... The average episode every week is like 8 to 10 minutes in the ring and 40
too much
40 other minutes of shit talking. I'm serious. If you go back and look at it, it's amazing when you look at it, but it's neither here nor there. All right. So the way this match goes is, again, the Thugs come down to ringside. They want to make sure there's no shenanigans with the Gangsters, but in the end, Boo ends up hitting Killer Kyle because Boo is down at ringside too. Boo hits Kyle. And Bobby, who just lost the Smoky Mountain Wrestling heavyweight title not that long ago, he wins the TV title by pinning Killer Kyle. So, Mr. Schmedley is now the Smoky Mountain Wrestling Beat the Champ TV title holder.
That makes him the Triple Crown winner because he also won the junior title.
That's pretty amazing, isn't it?
Hey, here's another fun fact. He's the last Beat the Champ title holder.
I wasn't going to spoil that, but you are correct. And we actually asked him about that the first time he was on the show. I think you sent that question to me. You like, ask him about that. And basically what it was the promotion was, I don't know if Corny planned to retire it, but the promotion, as we all know, comes to an end a few months later. And I guess they just never, they never had a chance to go back to it, even if they wanted to. Anyway. All right, Doc, are you ready for this long vignette or promo we're about to get into?
I guess.
All right. So, let's go to it. Here it is.
Wrestling fans, we are here in the conference room of Smoky Mountain Wrestling. Jim Cornette has called this get-together today. At this time, he is planning, I believe, to announce the mystery partner for Bullet Bob Armstrong at Volunteer Slam in Knoxville, as Mr. Armstrong and whomever Mr. Cornette is bringing will go against the Gangsters in a special Texas death match. Mr. Cornette.
You see, the reason why I wanted to wait, Bullet Bob, to reveal who your partner is going to be, I took the liberty of signing the match, as I told the folks last week, is because I don't know exactly whether or not you're going to like it too much, so I had some arrangements to make. That's why I've asked Mr. Sandy Scott, the general manager of Smoky Mountain Wrestling, to be here. I made some arrangements that I think will make it a whole lot more palatable who your partner is going to be, but you see, I know what you want, because I want the same thing. You want a showdown with the Gangsters. You want one match where you can not only beat them 1, 2, 3, but where you can make them unable to continue, beat them down once and for all convincingly. And that's a Texas death match, because you can't win by pinfall in a Texas death match. You've got to beat your opponent until he's unable to continue. That's what you want with the Gangsters. You want them stretched out flat, and that's what I want to see. So that's why I signed the Texas death match. Now, who could I get to be your partner? Well, I hemmed and hawed about that for a little while, and then I realized there's only one man in the world that could be your partner at a Texas death match and be assured of victory against the Gangsters. So at the Volunteer Slam in Knoxville, Tennessee at the Civic Coliseum on May 19th, your partner against the Gangsters in the Texas death match will be Terry Funk.
Oh, no. You got to be out of your ever-loving mind, man. I fought that guy from here to the... Are you nuts?
No.
You can't trust that guy as far as you can throw a bull by the tail. Terry Funk, he's a madman. He's an idiot. Everybody in the area knows he's a nut.
Let me just say this. I knew you'd have that response. Are you saying you're not going to team up with him? Is that what you're saying?
Let me say this. Can I trust him? How in the world can I trust a guy like that? He'd turn on his own mother.
Well,
his father invented the Texas death match. Everybody knows that. And look, why would he like me? I'm the only guy that ever beat him in a Texas death match. Why should I trust him?
That's why I realize that. I realize that you're the only guy ever to beat Terry Funk in a Texas death match. That means that you guys are the kings of the Texas death match. And I knew that you'd feel that way. I knew you wouldn't be able to trust him. So I had to give you something to show that you can trust me and him. Mr. Sandy Scott, if you'll show Bullet Bob the check, please, has a check in his hand, a cashier's check, not a personal check. You see, a couple of years ago, when you wanted to get even with me, Bullet Bob, you put up the Armstrong family money-back guarantee right there in the Knoxville Civic Coliseum. You said if you didn't send me to the hospital, that you would refund the ticket money of every man, woman, and child that paid their way into the Knoxville Coliseum to see that match. And as a result, I went to the hospital. You sent me straight out on a stretcher like you said you were going to do in the back of that ambulance. You didn't refund no money because you kept your word, but your word was as good as your bond. Well, what I'm doing is the Cornette family money-back guarantee. It's real simple. That is a check for $50,000. That is the approximate amount of money that would be paid for a sellout crowd in the Knoxville Civic Coliseum. So no matter how many people come to see that match on May 19th, if you and Terry Funk do not win the match with the Gangsters, if you don't beat the Gangsters and make them unable to continue stretched out in the middle of the ring, once and for all, the showdown, then I'll refund the money of every man, woman, and child that buys a ticket. I won't have any choice because Smoky Mountain Wrestling and Sandy Scott have the check on deposit. I won't have a say in the matter. It's in their hands. So you got a deal right there that you know I ain't going to come up off of 50 grand. So it's either like this. Either Terry Funk, you can't trust him, and he does something to you, and you guys don't win that match, things go awry, and I'll lose 50 grand. Or you and Terry Funk team together, beat the Gangsters in the Texas death match, and I keep my $50,000. What do you got to say?
Is this, Sandy, is this 50 grand? Am I reading that right?
$50,000 right here, signature, cashier check. We will hold it.
You'll deposit it?
Yes.
Well, I'll tell you
I'd like
what.
to make that statement one more time.
Okay.
If you, go ahead.
I'll make it. If Bullet Bob Armstrong and Terry Funk do not win the Texas death match on May 19th in Knoxville, if they do not leave the Gangsters laying face down in the middle of the ring, unable to continue, if they don't get their hands raised in victory, then Jim Cornette's 50 grand on deposit with Smoky Mountain Wrestling will go to refund the money of every man, woman, and child that buys a ticket to see that match that night.
You know, Cornette, I know how you feel about money. I think when you sleep, you see dollar signs, and I know how your mother is about that money, and I don't believe you would come up off $50,000. And the way I feel about Funk, he's one of the toughest men in the business, no doubt about it. But if you're willing to put up 50 grand, I'm willing to take a chance, but I'll tell you this, I'll be looking over my shoulder. Sandy, will you take this check? With him, I trust it a little better with him holding it instead of you. I'll be his partner. Volunteer slam, maybe I'm sticking my foot in the grave, but I don't care. I want to get rid of the Gangsters. If it takes this to do it, then, brother, I'm your man. The bullet will be there, and I won't be shooting no blanks at the volunteer slam. See that Funk doesn't.
That's exactly right. That's all I want. The Gangsters are going down, and they're going to get stretched out.
There you have it, fans. Volunteer Slam in Knoxville. Bullet Bob Armstrong, Terry Funk versus the Gangsters in a Texas death match.
Well, we got Funk coming back. What do you think, Doc?
Oh, that was a while, man. I started dozing off there, man. It's late at night. I like this for reasons that I can't explain. I know Harper would probably piss all over this because he's tired of it. But I like it. I don't know why. It's just sort of it is the main narrative of the whole Smoky Mountain story as these two battling each other. The part I didn't like was they talked about Texas Deathmatch, and BA's like, I don't even know. It didn't know that it was already going to be Funk when everybody else did. But I really liked the idea that they're bringing up the check, and the check comes from like 2 years prior with the hospitalization match, bringing that back up, tying those strings together. I like that piece. It's silly to think that Funk and Armstrong would work together But Corny's doing just enough to go, well, he's put all this in place. Why won't it work? So it's implausible, but Corny's working overtime to sell it to where okay, we can make this thing work.
Yeah, I mean, he's putting all his money on the line, and the thing is, it's not like he can
and Bob sells it. He's like, yeah, you wouldn't turn away money. And so it's like, well, shit, he is, I mean, maybe this is on the up and up kind of thing.
Yeah, and he said the thing is, it's not like put it like this. He's already given the check to Sandy to deposit, so it's bonded. Like, if something happens, that check's good. They've verified the funds are there. If something happens...
I did laugh with Bob asking Sandy. Now, this is legitimate, right? And they're both looking at it like two old men trying to figure out the internet together.
So, it's like, well, it seems like it's on the up and up.
Here's the thing. Of the three of us that do this, I think I'm most will go along with the whole BA Corny than even you, and definitely Harper.
Harper's just sick of it. He's like, oh, here we go again. He says.
Well, he's got that big long attention span where he can just, if it's not Golden Girls plots, he's out. So,
look, here's the thing. Even if you see what's coming, it's hard to dispute the way he did it with the check and telling Sandy, look, you can deposit it, man. It's good. We verified it's good. And at the end of the day, like he said, if you and Funk don't win, I got to pay up. So just knowing that, why would Funk double cross you? Why would I put Funk in position to double cross you? Keep that in mind. That's the point right there. So we will have to wait to see how this shakes out at Volunteer Slam. So there you go. All right. Doc, any other thoughts?
Like I said, man, I like this more than maybe even I should, but I do.
Now we go to a promo from Ricky Morton, who is at home with a neck brace on, and he is visibly injured after him being viciously attacked in the previous episode.
Do you think he told his female to get in that dress for the promo?
Let's play it first, and then I'll answer. Here it is.
Okay.
Still recovering from the compressed vertebrae he suffered in the attack by Al Snow. Let's go to these words from Ricky Morton at home.
I'd like to start off by thanking all the fans for all the calls, the letters, concerning about my neck. Through this whole ordeal, it's gave me a lot of support because, sitting here in this chair all day or laying over in the bed, you really pulled me through this. But, the doctor says I can't come back to about the middle of May because I have 2 compressed vertebrae in my neck, a lot of other trouble. But I'm here today to say one thing, is I'm asking Smoky Mountain Wrestling. Before I do come back, I'd like to have 2 things. One of them is to have Al Snow in the ring. Another one is a situation where there's no outside interference. You see, Rock and Roll Express has been down before many times. A lot of people say, well, they'll never be back. A lot of people say that Ricky Morton will never be back. But one thing about it is I'm coming back, Al Snow, at your expense, because I got one thing to prove. One thing to prove to you, brother, that rock and roll, that you're never going to get rid of us. We've been through a lot of situations, a lot of them, Al Snow, some that you don't even know about. You said for the last 13 years, all you ever thought about was the Rock and Roll Express, how to end the era. Well, one thing that you did accomplish, Al Snow, you did take the Smoky Mountain titles away from us. But one thing that you didn't do, you didn't take the pride away from me. See, I don't care what it takes, Hal. I've been there before. Every day that you get up and you think about the situations, what you have done to me, well, see, I'm thinking about the same thing. And all I'm asking is Smoky Mountain Wrestling is just to give me these 2 things. A match with you, and a match where I know there'll be no outside interference, where there'll be no Unabomb, or anybody else that you're trying to send down. Just me and you, and I prove to you you're the best man.
With me. All right, Doc, any thoughts on Ricky Morton right there, as he wants a piece of Al Snow?
He's not the only thing he wants a piece of.
All right. Why don't you tell the people why you asked about the dress?
Well, look. Explain the dress.
I mean, I'm no woman's fashion expert. It's just like she's got a black...
Bro, that's closer to her honey hole than it is her knees.
I mean, I don't think it's that terrible.
I don't think it's terrible at all. I'm just saying.
Okay, but you asked about it.
What was she? Who? Yeah, I mean, did he tell her to show off, or? I mean, what's going on here?
I don't think he told her to show off.
She was like, "This is
Morton?
my, this is my."
Let's go put that black dress on, show off them legs for these people, right? For all these nice people.
Yeah. So my point is, did she see this as her opportunity to show it off?
I'm not talking about this man's girlfriend at the time, dude. I'm staying out of that. I don't know.
Why do you always have to be a sissy about the topics?
She is not a topic of this show. Ricky Morton's injury is.
Always a sissy.
All these nice people. Hey, baby, let's go with that black, that sexy black dress you got on back there.
Right.
For all these nice people, you know.
Well, he's trying to get sympathy. Why do I feel sorry for him? He's about to get some titties in his face.
That's nice, Doc. All right. Any other thoughts on Ricky Morton?
Well, he's going to get a match, I bet.
Well, he does want a match, and just pay attention to Les right here as Unabomb and Al Snow are out here now responding to Morton. Here it is.
With me, the Smoky Mountain Tag Team Champions, Unabomb and Al Snow. We just heard from Ricky Morton and his lovely lady at home, and this guy was really hurt bad. He's out till mid-May.
Was that taped in a barn? Were they sitting on a bale of hay? Was that a cow sitting next to him in that barn?
I mean, you put the guy out, isn't that enough? They go throw more insult with the injury?
I feel so sorry for you, Ricky Morton. It's so bad. Because now you've lost your career, and here soon you're going to lose that skank of a bag of yeast you call a girlfriend.
Come on.
She's going to finally wake up and realize what a loser she's been sleeping with for all this time. Ricky Morton, I've ended your career. I've taken your belt. And now your woman's going to leave you. She's going to pack up and find the next best thing that comes along. I don't think that she's the type of woman that can live on food stamps, Ricky. Now, look, this is what I've got. I'm the man, Ricky, and you're not. You better hope that bag of yeast finds a new man. Hey, get that.
Wait. Here's Andrea, Ricky Morton's girlfriend, out on the set. Hold on here. Hold on. You guys, get her out here before she gets hurt. Watch out before she gets hurt. Have you got a hold of her, Mark? Hold on to her now. Hold on to her, Sandy.
Come on, I get you.
Come on, Andrea. Come on. Wait a minute, are you hiding behind me?
I wouldn't have to hide behind you. I tell you, he don't get no better than this. Robert Gibson, you found a new partner. Ricky Morton's bag of yeast of a girlfriend.
Jesus.
I can't stand it. Robert.
That's nice.
You've now got... Hey, keep that crazy woman away from me. You stay... Hey, come on, I'll knock you out just like your husband.
All right, don't be hiding behind me.
Come on.
Look. I'm afraid she's going to get hurt. I'm afraid if she hits you, you might get hurt.
It's good to see who's the real tough guy in the Morton family. Obviously, Ricky wasn't. He's sending his old woman to fight his battles. Ricky Morton, if I had a shred of decency, which I do, that's the only thing that's keeping me from taking her, turning her over my knee and spanking her, because I know how much she probably likes it. Lester, it's been fun. It's been real fun. But now we've got to go and end another man's career.
All right, well, you're going to go wrestle. All right, we're going to throw it to ring announcer Tommy Noe.
Ladies and...
Okay, that was pretty foul by Al Snow. Doc, what do you think?
Come on. Al Snow's turning it on lately. I wasn't a fan early on, but, dude, he just called her a bag of yeast.
It's pretty bad, isn't it?
That's pretty bad, man. It got her out.
Well, The line that got me was...
It got her up off of her bread maker, and she came out to get some, and then he offered to punch her in the face.
That's nice, Doc. The line that got me was, "I'll knock you out like your husband. It's good to see who the tough guy is in the Morton family."
Yeah.
I was like, oh, shoot. Damn, that's messed up. This is pretty foul.
He's pushing it.
Yeah, he
walked right up to the line of things that I think you can say. I would have been like, how, we talk about things that went over our head on the NWA show, right? In the 80s, we were like, oh, when you go back and look at it, Rick was talking about all kinds of things that we may not have completely understood. Where's the line there where bag of yeast would have gone completely over a certain age group's head?
Well, it wouldn't have went over ours. We would have knew what that was at that time. But like,
right?
If you're 10 years old, you probably were like, huh?
And you can't look it up. You got no way to look this up.
Yeah, that is so terrible. Oh my. Let me tell you, man, that he's drawing some heat, man. That's some foul stuff. Yeah. He calls her a walking bag of yeast. Stay away from me. I'll knock you out like your husband. It's good to see who the tough guy is in the Morton family. I mean, basically, he's calling her a dude, and she's tougher than him, and she's got yeast problems.
Mm-hmm.
He's batting for... He just hit the cycle on that promo when he's trying to, lay into her. That's pretty messed up, man.
Yeah.
What else you got?
No, that's pretty much it, man. That was good stuff.
We go to Mike Mason and George South after that versus Snow and Unabomb, the dynamic duo. But before we can get started, Robert Gibson, he comes down to ringside to tag with George South. So it's not going to be Mike Mason. So George South is now got a different tag partner. Let me ask you this. What do you have? And then I'll talk about what happens at the end.
My notes in their entirety were Gibson is in, Yeasty is in, and is Morton violating the advice to never let your broad work in the business?
It's a good question.
Because there's going to be something that happens later on this summer in real life with Morton that's going to be a problem. So I'm just saying.
Yeah, I know why you're asking that. And because of that event that happens and all that stuff, I mean, technically, I guess maybe she shouldn't have been involved because of what happens. That's the only reason why I say that. I'm not saying what happens is because of what happens here with her being involved in a quote-unquote business, but, I mean, you can't dispute the fact that something does happen with her personally and with Ricky, and, yeah. There's that.
Yeah.
It's a sticky situation, and we'll just leave it at that.
Ugh.
All right.
Oh.
So this match, there are shenanigans at the end of the match, just all over the place. The ref DQs Snow and Unabomb due to the ref being pushed down by Snow. So you got that going on for what goes down. And then they're about to pile drive Gibson, them being Snow and Unabomb. But Andrea, Morton's girlfriend, comes in and she stops that from happening. Andrea beats, I don't want to say beats up. She lays some in the Snow a little, and then Snow and Unabomb end up powdering out. So I guess to the point you just asked a second ago, would Andrea get involved? She gets involved again. I mean, it's booked that way. She didn't just go rogue and decide to do it on her own. But, that does make you think about what ends up happening with her and everything that goes down with Morton and all that stuff in a few months. Yeah. And I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts on her saving Gibson? she's laying in the Snow for a minute or two, man. She's slapping him, punching him. She's laying it into him. Any other thoughts, Doc?
How many times do you think she hit Ricky like that for catching him with a rat?
I am not going to answer that. I'm not going to answer that. But I tell you what I will answer, or I tell you what I will do. I'm going to play right now Al Snow, who goes over to the table And I just noticed something a second ago. The old school desk is gone. This may have been when they lost it. I don't know. We'll have to pay attention, because that is a tablecloth over just a regular wooden table they're at right now. They're not. I noticed it a second ago when Andrea was out there fighting them. The desk is not there. But let's go to Al Snow now after the match when Andrea attacks him.
Oh, man. You got some crazy skank of a cow attacking me in the ring. Oh, it don't get no better. Robert, you do have a new partner. And she's even better than Ricky Morton. And she better be. Because I was this close to it in your stinking career. And we will next time. Crazy witch or not.
You know, I noticed you covered up a little bit when she... Oh, okay. Well, there's the comments of Al Snow. We'll be back right after this.
Al Snow's messed up, man. That's some terrible stuff. Gibson found a good partner. Morton's broad is a better fighter than Morton. Come on, man. He's relentless this episode, if you really think about it. Look, I'm giving him the government cheese. I'm telling you that right now.
Okay. We usually do that. We usually do that at the end, but
I don't care. He's getting the cheese.
Okay.
What do you have from him right there? He's shining, man. Come on.
It was good.
All right. Anything else?
No, I don't actually, sir.
We go to the main event. It's Bobby Fulton versus Buddy Landel for the Smoky Mountain Wrestling Heavyweight title. They have a long back and forth match. I mean, a long one by TV standards. We talk about this all the time when these matches go. Actually, when they go more than 6, 7, 8 minutes, that's kind of long for the 1 hour TV. After a couple of false finishes near the end, Budrow pulls a gimmick out of his trunks. He hits Fulton with it and pins Bobby Fulton to retain his title. I kind of went through that quick there, Doc, but like I said, they're back and forth throughout most of it. There's nothing really to talk about, but at least for me, I thought so. What did you think?
I thought it was solid.
Yeah, solid. Definitely solid.
Meat and potatoes. These two guys are both great workers. I can't get over how much Bobby Fulton looks like he's aged in the 3 years since he's been here. He looks 10 years older. But both of these guys are good workers. There wasn't a lot to take notes on, but that didn't mean that it wasn't worth watching.
I agree. I'm with you right there. Any other thoughts on
it? No.
All right. And like I said, at the end, I was trying to get advanced to it a little bit, but at the end, what it is, like I said, Budrow pulls a gimmick out of his trunks and hits Bobby Fulton with it, and that's it. That's how it ends. So there you go. Budrow retains his Smoky Mountain Wrestling Heavyweight title on that note. All right, Doc. So then we got one more promo in this episode, and I actually think this is kind of cool what we're about to see, because basically what you have is some inter-promotional or conflicting promotion.
To the degree that it could be done in 1995, this is about it, right?
Right. So we got Tracy Smothers and Dirty White Boy, and then PG-13, and then lastly, a run-in from the Gangsters, or a promo from the Gangsters. So PG-13 being JC Ice and Wolfie D. We'll hear more. Here, let's go to the promo now.
All right, with me, they call themselves the Thugs. You know them as the Dirty White Boy and the Wild-Eyed Southern Boy, Tracy Smothers. And you guys have formed quite a combination, Trace.
You got it, Les. You know, I think the PG-13's got something to say. Why don't we hear that?
Well, that's right. You guys are going to wrestle PG-13 for the USWA Tag Title. That's at Volunteer Slam in Knoxville. And let's hear from the USWA Tag Team Champions.
To the P, to the G, plus the 1 and the 3.
That means JC Ice and Sir Wolfie D.
We ain't playing no games, so you better beware.
You don't like us, so what?
We really don't care. Knoxville, Tennessee. This is PG-13, and we're from the USWA. And on the 19th of May, we're coming to Knoxville to beat up Tracy Smothers and the Dirty White Boy. And we're going to show all you Smoky Mountain hillbillies how we do it in the hood and from Memphis, Tennessee.
See, what you don't understand, Tracy Smothers and Tony Anthony, is you're a bunch of inbred rednecks. We're from the streets of the hood, son, the city life, where everything you get, you take if you want it, punk. So what we're doing is coming to Knoxville to take what we want. That's another set of titles. Yeah. We will be the Smoky Mountain champions. We will be the USWA champions. And we'll see you May 19th in the Knoxville Coliseum.
Well, all right. You've heard from the USWA Tag Champions, PG-13. Trace, For the very first time, the USWA title is being defended in Knoxville at Volunteer Slam. You guys get the first shot.
You got it. PG-13, you're the USWA Tag Team Champions. You're running around saying that the USWA is better than Smoky Mountain. Well, let me tell you something, guys. When you come to Knoxville, Tennessee, when you come to Volunteer Slam, it won't be rated PG, it will be rated R, and you will be in there with the thugs. And that stands for T is for terrible, H is for hell, U is for ugly, and G is for jail, because a thug can't spell. But one thing we spell real well, and that's pain, and we spell it F-I-S-T. Right, white boy?
Wait, hold on.
Let me tell you something. PG-13, they got the belts in USWA. Since when have y'all tagged? 6 weeks, maybe? 8 months ago today, we came to Smoky Mountain, and what did we tell you we was going to do? We beat the hell out the Rock and Roll Express. We beat the hell out the Heavenly Bodies, and every once in a while, we done kicked your butt. We just ain't got a hold of you yet, punk. So what? The commissioner, I know, is Bob Armstrong. He behind it. You know what I'm saying? Once again, discrimination. And if it was anything, we ought to be the ones that get them little punk rednecks in the ring and beat the hell out of them like we done beat everybody else in Smoky Mountain. Well, I'm going to tell you something, and I tell you, punk. If it means that much to you, you challenge us next week. And whoever wins, that's who will fight PG-13. Because PG-13 don't mean crap to me. And you know, you don't mean jack.
Yeah, come on, you guys. Not here.
You get your stinking hands off me, you stinking California reject. You want some of us, you got it. By God, anytime. Next week, right there in that ring, you can beat us. You get the
hold on, you guys. Hold on, everybody.
Match, man. It ain't nothing but a thing.
All right, you've heard it. It is next week right here on this program. Dirty White Boy Tracy Smothers against the Gangsters. We're out of time. Let's that's it for Chip Kessler saying.
Tracy's really putting his palm and fist in the Jack's chest on that one, man. They ain't playing around on that.
I thought Tracy was about to call him an N.
Man, it was almost like if the thought bubble would have came above his head, that's what the thought bubble would have said.
Speaking of N's,
calm down, people. We're just having a little fun with that. I mean, before anybody gets offended and mad. But
speaking of N's.
Oh Jesus.
PG-13 reminds me, but instead of an N, I'd like to find and replace with a W.
Oh, yeah. Back in the day, that word they used to throw around. That shit was ridiculous, those two, when they started rhyming.
Good God.
Look at them with the hubcap and the USWA titles.
Here's the thing. Wolfie D. Wait, which one is which?
JC Ice is the short one.
Yeah, he's Dundee's kid.
Yeah, Wolfie D.
Wolfie D actually looks decent in this role. It's silly, but he looks decent. Dundee's kid's a disaster on this.
I didn't mind PG-13. Like the way
I'm sure you didn't, because you modeled your career on it.
I wouldn't say that at all.
You're a cross between Rocco Rock and JC Ice.
I don't think so, but okay. No, I actually look. I think you're popping yourself. That's very lame. But what I was about to say was,
wait till next week's promo with these two.
JC Ice and Wolfie D, they're out there rhyming and rapping, and they're cutting this promo, which is ridiculous. And they're talking about May 19th, Volunteer Slam, and so it's going to be Smothers and Dirty White Boy versus PG-13 for the U.S. tag titles. But before we can get there, we got a match between the Thugs and the Gangsters, and that will determine who fights them for these titles.
Dundee's kid's out there saying he grew up on the streets. Man, Bill Dundee said, be home by 9:30. I'm going to whip your little ass.
This is awesome, man. I like the tag team from one promotion fighting the tag team from this promotion.
I'm making fun of them, but I love them coming in because there's a lot of different things they can do because it's cross-promotional. It's new. They could go with the Thugs who are going to be playing babyface against them because they're white rappers. Or what happens if they go up against the Gangsters? The Gangsters have all kinds of ammunition on these two.
Bro,
So
this is good.
I'm into it. I'm making fun of the gimmick because we got to talk about something, but I'm fine with it. I was thoroughly entertained by what I saw here.
This is good, man. Look, at the end of the day, I'll say this, and this won't spoil whatever is going to happen with these teams and whatnot, but like the Gangsters their run is not far from being over. They're wrapping up right now in this promotion. They are wrapping up, and it's crazy. It was they say it here. They mentioned 8 months. It's like, wow, man, I didn't even realize 8 months went by really damn quick. But they're wrapping up, so you got to have something different. You got to have some new faces come in, and I don't mean baby face. I mean just new people.
But we used to get that sometimes with Mid-South and World Class. I mean, it wasn't all the time, but they would shuttle some people back and forth, and that was good, right?
They had to, man. That fucking World Class roster was so small.
Thin.
They didn't rotate people in.
They were 10. They were just like your Pellies. They were 10 deep.
Dude, that's funny. On a serious note, if you think the Smoky Mountain roster is small,
and it is.
It is. I don't think people realize how small World Class's roster was. That shit was spit glue and duct tape small. They did not have a lot of people.
That's how you make money, pal.
But
rich people don't get rich by giving it away.
That's true too. Them Von Erich boys and them Freebirds for a year and a half just.
How do you think Kevin's living out in Hawaii right now?
Well, I wasn't going to say that, but okay.
A thin roster and selling that library tape, the library to Vince.
So, all right, Doc, any other thoughts on this promo from the Thugs, PG-13, and then the Gangsters coming in?
No, I think I'm interested to see what happens here. There's a lot of different ways this could spiderweb.
Amen. I agree with that wholeheartedly. So, with that said, we're going to give out the disability checks, or Doc is going to give out disability checks. I already gave out my government cheese, but with that said, so let's see what these disability checks look like. Remember, use our Amazon link. It's Thanksgiving week. Happy Thanksgiving, and please use that link. It's tinyurl.com/BTT Amazon, a great way to support this show. There you go. Please use it. Give that link to the wives, girlfriends, hoes, side pieces in your life. Tell them to use it. Do us a solid and actually put that link into their browser. Put it into them, not them, the browser. There you go. Doc, disability checks, man. What are you thinking here?
Good episode. We are deep into 95 and continuing to get good content. And I think some people get lazy and say, 95 is a bad year for Smoky Mountain. There are going to be times coming up in the next 30 episodes where it's not great. But we're still on a pretty good high here. And as such, I'm going to accurately, down to the 10th of point, correctly and accurately rate this as an 8.2.
8.2. Good job. I'm going to give it a solid A for my rating. And with that said, we'll go to the government cheese. I already said who's getting my government cheese. I thought he was really good in this episode. He tore Andrea, Ricky Morton's girlfriend, a new one throughout the segment.
That sounds dirty.
I'm just saying. Who are you giving yours to?
Wait, so not Buddy at Classy Motors?
Not this time, but he did. I don't want to give nothing away. Snow gets it from me. Who are you getting it from? You?
Well, I wrote this down at the beginning of earlier this week when I watched the episode, and I have not deviated, as sometimes I tend to do during the course of the episode. Give me Al Snow as well.
Wow. Al Snow with the cheese.
Yeah.
Oh, my. Well, there you have it. That's some great stuff. Al Snow with the cheese. And please throw a little cheese our way by becoming a patron at tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. It's a great way to support this show, get extra content, get the video review versions of these. All that good stuff available on our Patreon page, tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. Doc, couple of things real quick. Shout out to the Wrestling Podcast About Nothing with ROH's Brian Malonis and Mike Crockett. They do their show every single Monday. They support us, so please support them. They talk classic and current stuff. Also, shout out to Our Vantage Point, the Retro Wrestling Podcast with Joe Murata and Michael Quinn, the northern version of BTT. Slightly classier, definitely more professional, but still fun nonetheless. They support us, so please support them. Those two shows, the great part about them is they don't miss. They deliver every single week, and they're a great show, so check them out. Doc, anything else before we get out of here? You got anything you want to touch base on?
Nah, I think, just to say we've done it again. We're just out there, like, delivering the mail. Just rain, sleet, snow, just kick ass every time. How about that?
You're like Cal Ripken, bro.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good analogy. I would have liked to have Harper running in and doing some shenanigans, but apparently some broad down in New Orleans needed to get Harperized. You know what? Who can blame him? Who can blame him for that?
For real. All right, Doc. So tell you what, man. Won't you hit the tagline?
Oh, all right. Freak out, freak out. Is that it?
Freak out, baby.
All right, well, how about this one? Book it, bitch.
Before we get out of here, I want to say thank you to all of our patrons out there for supporting this show and making this show possible twice per week, every single week with the Smoky Mountain shows and the NWA shows. And, look, I know you get extra shows, but ultimately, when you are a patron for us and support us on Patreon, we thank you because it does help the 8 free shows as well. So I know we do extra stuff, but with that said, patrons out there such as yourself, thank you for being patrons. And if you're not one, remember, become one at tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. Over 200 plus episodes are available on Patreon for you to enjoy and listen to extra stuff that we've done, wrestling stuff, non-wrestling stuff. And when I say non-wrestling stuff, it's nothing political or social things in the world. It's just Harper, Doc, and I having tons of fun talking about just utter stupidity for entire episodes. So that's what you have to look forward to. There's a lot there. The Dallas Cowboys ring rat house. Harper talking about the worst places to take a dump. So much stuff that's available on Patreon. Now, I also want to say a special shout out to our Hall of Fame Patreon members, Don Dipponet, Lee Russell, MDQ for Life, George Davis, Kevin Carter, Michael Angel, Bob Richards, Rocky Suazo, Christopher Champer, Will Harkey, Robbie Dyson, Rick Beebe, Brad Duknife, and Tom Schlegel, Coach Joey Chase, a.k.a. Willie Chase, Steve Malbasa, LaRon Brown, Kenny Byersdorf, Glenn Abbott at GA WrestleNut on Twitter, Bobby Murray, Marlon Mueller at HalfPoints Point on Twitter. Keep cutting those promos, kid. You're the man, Marlon. Thank you, man. I appreciate your support. Long time. Josh Warren, you too, long time supporter. Everett Starr, Mike Childry, Kyle Riley, Disrespectfully Classy, Marky Blassie, Craig Norman, Johnny on Patreon, the great John Dean at YRC21 on Twitter, Josh Dunn, Ryan in Auburn, good old Justin, Robert Smith, Joseph Ice, Tim Morecci, the BTT Research Department, Adam Price, Brian Evans, Mark Wilson, Armando Martinez, David Jordan, Jesse Jacobs, Chris Myers, Gerald Green, Mitchell Johnson, Mike Prue from the Bottom Line Cast. Make sure y'all check that show out. Him and JV do a great job. And Mike Prue is also a co-host on the ECW Extreme Live Cast on our Patreon feed. Will Parker, Jeremy Bryant, Classy Alex, David DeVries, SV Pagem, Bill Sousa, Big Rich at Spyboy Sportscap, Ari Miller 39, Jay Shiny, Ruben Espinoza, Merciless Jones, Jesse Lucas, Chris Browning, Justin _Andrade, Comany22, Marty Howell, T-Hog 94, Godbold Unreal. Thank you for all of your support. And lastly, like always, thank you to everyone. I can't forget, check out the Bottom Line Cast with Mike Prue and JV. They have a podcast series where they're getting close to the end, but they've chronicled the career of Stone Cold Steve Austin month by month and on a weekly basis. It's a really good show. They basically just go through Stone Cold's entire career. I say entire career, it's mostly his WWF stuff, but Mike and JV also do the ECW show on our Patreon feed, and that show they do on their free feed. Just search the Bottom Line Wrestling Cast or go on to Twitter at Bottom Line Cast and you can find them. Thank you everyone for all of your support. That's it. We're going to get out of here. You know what Harper always says when we get out of here? Book it, bitch.